So there we were, crammed in the old family minivan, embarking on what was supposed to be a simple road trip to Aunt Judy's for her famous barbecue. Everything started off as you'd expect. Dad at the helm, Mom in the passenger seat with a map she refused to use, and my sister and I in the back, engaged in a silent but ferocious battle for elbow room. Dad had recently discovered a new GPS app that he was confident would revolutionize our travel experience. It's got voice commands and everything, he boasted, as if he were introducing us to the future itself. What Dad failed to mention, however, was that he had set the app to adventurous mode, a feature he thought would add a little spice to our journey. As we set off, the app's soothing voice guided us through a series of increasingly questionable detours. First, it took us off the main highway and through a series of winding back roads, the kind where you'd half expect to encounter a tumbleweed or two. "Are you sure this is right?" Mom asked, squinting at the road ahead. Dad, ever the optimist, assured us that the app knew best. "Trust the tech, honey," he said with a grin. We passed a field of llamas, then a mailbox shaped like a giant trout, and I began to suspect that this app might have a peculiar sense of humor. 2 hours later, as the sun began to dip below the horizon, the app chirped, "Destination ahead on the right." We all peered out the windows, expecting Aunt Judy's familiar farmhouse, but instead were greeted by a neon sign flashing, "Drive-Thru Wedding Chapel, Love on the Go." Before we could process what was happening, Dad had already pulled into the driveway, and an enthusiastic officiant in a sequined vest approached the car with a bouquet of plastic roses. "Congratulations," he exclaimed. "Ready to renew those vows?" My parents exchanged bewildered glances, and before they could protest, the officiant launched into a speedy ceremony, complete with vows, rings, and a honk your horn to seal the deal finale. By the time we pulled away, my sister and I were in stitches, and even Mom couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all. As we finally arrived at Aunt Judy's, Dad sheepishly admitted, "Well, I guess that's one way to keep the romance alive." And just like that, our simple family road trip turned into a legendary tale. Aunt Judy, ever the jokester, greeted us with a smirk and said, "Well, at least now you know the road to love is paved with GPS errors."